Power is often seen as something to be craved, chased, and hoarded, but here's the thing. It's rarely as solid as it appears. The craving for control can blind people, making them believe they own something real when it's nothing more than a fleeting illusion. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that controlling others will give you power, but that's a shallow pursuit. Manipulation, betrayal, and threats are just tools for the weak. Desperate measures meant to create an illusion of strength. Ever noticed how the people who seem the most in control often hide behind false bravado, weaving webs to make others think they hold the strings? They plan, they plot, they push, but in reality, they're just playing a game with themselves. They think they can bend others to their will, that they can dictate fates like puppeteers. But here's the kicker. Control over others isn't true power. It's just a fragile construct. The truth behind real power, it doesn't come from forcing others to submit. It comes from knowing yourself. Real power is quiet, rooted in resilience, and the strength to stand firm when the world tries to knock you down. True power doesn't need to manipulate or control. It simply is. And when you understand that, the game changes. You become untouchable. There's a raw, untamed power that's unlocked only through the darkest moments of your life. The kind of power that doesn't come from reading books or taking easy paths. It's forged in the fire of pain. Pain isn't just something to endure. It's something to embrace. When the world tries to break you, when others see you as weak, that's when the beast within starts to stir. It's not a gentle awakening. It's brutal. It's rage, survival, and pure, unfiltered power rising from the ashes. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through adversity, through trials that break you down until there's nothing left but the core of who you really are. And that's the part that doesn't break. In fact, the more you're pressed, the stronger you become. Like a diamond under pressure, your true form is revealed not by your softness, but by your ability to stay standing when everything else crumbles. Silence becomes your weapon, your shield. Resilience becomes your essence. You don't need to shout about your strength. It's felt in every unyielding step you take, in the calm confidence that radiates from within. The beast doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't beg for approval. It rises, unshaken, unapologetic, ready to claim what's its. Lies are more than just falsehoods. They are tools that can control entire realities. The art of deception isn't about telling grand, obvious lies. It's about shaping belief, manipulating perception in ways so subtle that the victim never sees it coming. A well-told lie doesn't just deceive. It plants seeds, wraps itself around the mind, and slowly rewires someone's entire worldview. When you control what someone believes, you control how they see everything. The beauty of a lie is that it doesn't need to be true. It just needs to be believed. But here's the catch. Lies, no matter how skillfully crafted, are fragile. The more they're stretched, the more cracks appear. At first, the lie holds, and the illusion feels unshakable. But as time passes, the weight of deception builds. One question, one doubt, and the entire structure begins to wobble. And when those cracks show, the fear sets in. The manipulator knows that once the lie is exposed, their power vanishes. Exposure is the ultimate nightmare for someone who thrives on deception. Once the illusion collapses, the manipulator is left exposed, vulnerable, and helpless. The truth becomes like a weapon, shattering everything they've built, leaving them scrambling to hold on to a control that was never real to begin with. Relationships at their core are a delicate dance, a quiet game of who holds the power and who is controlled, even if neither side says a word about it. It's not always about who's louder or who dominates the conversation. It's about the hidden forces at play, the ones we don't always see. The one who needs less, the one who has less to lose, often holds the upper hand. Their indifference becomes their strength. It's a silent dance, a constant balancing act of who gives and who takes. In this dance, love becomes a currency, sometimes given freely, sometimes withheld like a prize to be earned. The giver, desperate for validation, pours themselves into the relationship, hoping that their devotion will be enough. The one who takes, whether consciously or not, becomes the dealer. They give just enough affection to keep the giver hooked, offering fleeting moments of warmth to maintain control. But every game has a breaking point. The addict, the one who gives too much, will eventually realize the truth. Their love is never returned in full. They've been drained, exploited, and left wondering why love feels more like a prison than a sanctuary. The moment the addict realizes their own worth is when the power shifts. The tables turn, and the one who once controlled now faces the harsh reality of what they've lost. Control slips away, and they are left scrambling empty and exposed. There's something poetic about the fall of a manipulator. They build their world on lies, deception, and control, thinking their power will last forever. But every house of cards has its tipping point. When the truth begins to surface, even the smallest crack can bring the whole structure crumbling down. The manipulator, once confident and in control, suddenly finds themselves exposed, vulnerable and helpless in the face of the very thing they tried to bury: the truth. It's a battle of wills, a war fought in the shadows, where the tables turn in an instant. The person who once held all the cards, the one who thrived on bending others to their will, is now at the mercy of those they sought to control. It's a surreal moment, the sudden realization that their power was never real, only borrowed, and now it's slipping through their fingers. In this final reckoning, the manipulator faces a brutal truth. Power is never guaranteed. It's fleeting, fragile, and built on shifting sands. Once they're exposed, the illusion evaporates, and they are left with nothing but the consequences of their own ambitions. Meanwhile, the one they tried to control rises, stronger, wiser, and free. Power lost, power found. But this time, it's in the hands of the one who was once the victim. The roles are reversed, and the manipulator is left with the bitter taste of their own defeat.